Hi, ELE families. This is Principal Lael back again to share information about how our school will transition into the next phase of our school year. Plan A and the continuation of the full remote academy will begin on Monday, March 22nd. First, I want to give you a little background on why it takes a bit of time to move from new guidance being provided to creating action plans in our schools. Research and information is provided by the CDC to state health and human services departments. Those departments, along with our NCDPI, provide guidance to schools and local health officials. CMS works together with Mecklenburg County Health Department to determine what this will look like in our schools. Then, CMS provides information to principals, and we then work with our teams to decide the action plan for our individual schools. There's been a lot of talk about what Plan A actually means. The chart on the right shows the comparison between Plan A and Plan B. As you can see, the main difference is that 6 feet of social distance at all times is not required for schools operating under Plan A. While we are not required to maintain 6 feet of social distance at all times, we are directed to maintain distance to the extent possible. Schools operating in Plan A are not required to reduce the number of students on campus, and that's the reason that we are able to dissolve our rotations, A and B, into one group of students who attend Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. In-person school all 5 days of the week is not a requirement for operating in Plan A or by Senate Bill 2020, the Reopen Our Schools Act. This is in order to allow schools and school districts opportunities to meet all of the other requirements for this very unique school year. Our custodians have much more work to do, and our teachers have more planning in order to prepare and deliver instruction in a different environment. So, what do class assignments look like? For ELE students in either rotation A or B, they will remain with their teacher and will now attend with that teacher 4 days per week as opposed to having the 2 days remote with the same teacher. Our classes all meet the North Carolina teacher-student allotment ratios, meaning that no classes in kindergarten through 3rd grade have more than 21 students, and no students in 4th and 5th grade have more than 27 students. Although there is no maximum in those grades, we have been able to maintain class sizes along with our allotment ratios. All students will have remote learning on Wednesdays. Our remote learning Wednesdays will look a little different than our asynchronous Wednesdays, as the synchronous learning or live lessons will be extended. Our full remote academy students will continue 5 days of remote learning, and their schedule will look much the same as it has in the past. In kindergarten through 2nd grade, our teachers are all either assigned to full remote academy or in-person students, meaning we don't operate under a hybrid model where full remote academy students will be taught by teachers who also have in-person students at the same time. In 3rd through 5th grade, our teachers either have all remote blocks or one in-person block and one remote block, or they teach all in-person students. Currently, we have 2 classes assigned to each classroom in our school building, and one group of students and their teacher was in a classroom for Monday, Tuesday, and then another group and their teacher was in the classroom Thursday and Friday. Now we are adding 14 additional classrooms so that teachers and students will be in the same classroom inside the building throughout the week. Each homeroom class will be assigned to a classroom. That means that 3rd through 5th grade students will not switch classes for the blocks. Our teachers will move between being in person in classrooms with students and switching to a new group of students or switching to a remote teaching location. Some of our students will work in small groups or specials with students from another class. Social distance will be maintained to the extent possible in these instances. At this time, all classes are assigned to rooms inside the building, but that is subject to change depending on enrollment changes. Our teachers will show their students the new classrooms this week, and students will begin reporting to their new classroom on March 22nd. Currently, our class sizes range from 13 to 19 in kindergarten with 2 full remote classes. In first grade, 15 to 19, 2 full remote classes. Second grade, 12 to 20 with 3 full remote classes. Third grade, 12 to 19 with 3 full remote classes. Fourth grade, 10 to 22 with 2 to 3 full remote classes. We are working to take the class of 10 and disperse them over the other teachers so that we have a clear distinction between full remote and in-person in fourth grade. That will be completed by Monday. In fifth grade, our class sizes range from 18 to 24, and we have 2 full remote academy classes. Some of our requirements will remain exactly the same as we move into the next phase. Face coverings will be required for all staff and students at all times except when actively eating or drinking and/or outdoors and able to maintain 6 feet of distance. That would mean that students would need to be seated and the activity would be teacher directed. An example of when this might happen is when students are able to eat lunch outside and the teachers have directed the students into their seating areas and all of the students are staying in one place. When we're having activities such as PE or recess, students are moving around and we are not able to maintain 6 feet of distance, and so face coverings will be required at those times. We are also required to continue using our distance markings and our hand washing sanitizing protocols. That means that throughout the school, in our hallways, our outdoor areas, our restrooms, we have markings to help students maintain distance when they're waiting. This is because in these areas, students cross over multiple students at the same time. And for contact tracing, it's very important that we know when students have been in close contact with other students for more than 15 minutes. We have increased the capacity in our hallway restrooms so that we can accommodate more students. And also, we have maintained the markings that help students understand where their space should be while they're waiting. Hand washing will continue before eating, after restroom breaks, and other times as needed, but sanitizing will be used after eating, before and after recess, and other times throughout the day. We are still required to have students complete the symptom screener and temperature checks each morning. That means we are going to count on you to continue making sure you have the green check every day and submitting the bus attestation form on the first day each week that your child is riding the bus in the morning. Temperature checks will continue upon arrival. There are some differences in the school day logistics. Previously, we had art and PE on students' in-person attendance days and music, media, guidance, and Minds in Motion on students' remote days. We'll be changing that up since students will be attending either 4 days or be all remote. Art, music, and media will continue to be in the classroom, and PE and Minds in Motion will be outside when weather is permitting. And breakfast and lunch will continue in classrooms with teachers having the option of the outdoor spaces. We continue to have the free meal option for all students for breakfast and lunch. And meal bundles will continue to be available for pickup for our full remote academy students. There is a big change with our remote learning Wednesdays. Our students will have increased synchronous instructional time. Kindergarten through second grade students who are participating in Full Remote Academy will begin their special area class at 7:45 a.m. All other students will begin at 8:15 a.m. This allows our ASEP students, after school enrichment program, to arrive at their 8 a.m. start time and log in to be ready to begin at 8:15. All students will continue to have 30 minutes of social emotional learning and will have 120 minutes of synchronous learning. That will be focused on literacy, math, science, and/or social studies. There is an additional 60 to 120 minutes of time that will be scheduled small groups and independent assignments. Grade levels and teachers will share the specifics of these schedules next week. So, as you can see, the schedule for kindergarten through second grade and third grade through fifth grade are very similar to our remote learning schedule from earlier in the year, with all of the synchronous learning time being concentrated before lunch and asynchronous time offered after lunch. So you may be wondering, what will my child do during the asynchronous time, and what are the teachers and staff doing during this time? So students should have approximately an hour and a half of assignments and activities during their asynchronous work time. However, we know that it is impossible to plan 1.5 hours of work for such a vast range of students. So all students do have access to Epic, which is a digital book and read aloud program, and Dreambox that they can use during that asynchronous time if they don't fill the amount of time for work. Teachers and staff have lots to do during this time. There are 90 minutes of collaborative lesson planning with teams or professional development that's required by the school or the district. We also have a 60 to 90-minute staff meeting each week, and sometimes we alternate that with reviewing student data. Teachers also have 60 minutes of individual planning time, and on this one day, 30 minutes of a duty-free lunch. We are not able to provide our teachers with a duty-free lunch this year on other days, so we feel like they deserve it on Wednesdays. You also might want to know, how does that benefit your child? And what this helps us provide is consistency and instructional pacing across a team. For example, all second grade teachers need to keep their pacing consistent so that if a child needs to be absent from school due to quarantine or other reasons, they are able to join a full remote academy class or have their Canvas work provided for them in a manner that's consistent with what their in-person student classmates are also receiving. This also helps us maximize the teacher and student time on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Previously, we used the special area time and a combination of coverage by teacher assistants to help us provide the teams with their 90 minutes of collaborative planning. This year, because our schedules need to be different to accommodate different modes of learning, we're not able to do that. So that means that teachers and students have more time together 4 days per week, so that on one day each week, we can ensure that our teams have planning time to make sure that we're staying consistent with pacing and implementing our curricula with fidelity. So there are some updates to our school day logistics. During recess, classes will continue to remain together as a homeroom group and will not mix. This helps with contact tracing. However, we will be able to create a rotation so that classes will be able to use the playground structures, and we are really excited about this. Our health room will continue to operate as a nurse on wheels, meaning that teachers can call from classrooms for a nurse to respond, and any students who have any types of symptoms will be screened, and the nurse may determine that a student with symptoms needs to be sent to our isolation or care room, which is a separate location from the office health room, to help us manage any symptoms that are unknown and need further follow-up. So, additional school logistics that we are going to need your help with are arrival and dismissal. Because the procedures are the same, but we're multiplying the number of people times two, which makes this a little trickier. During arrival, some things are the same. If you arrive before 7:15, you will enter the bus lot and wait to enter the drop-off lane until 7:15. What's different is that we will have double the amount of traffic in the morning. This is still okay. Don't panic, because even with double the amount of traffic, we don't have the full number of students attending school at this time because of the full remote academy. During dismissal, what's the same is that we can't allow vehicles to stack on Elizabeth Lane or Highway 51. What's different is we have double the amount of traffic in the afternoon and double the number of students waiting to be picked up. We cannot allow vehicles to arrive before 2:20 p.m. because our PE classes are using the blacktop. My recommendation, arrive between 2:35 and 2:45 p.m. This is when traffic is moving, and when traffic is moving, we prevent the need to stack, and families are not frustrated by waiting to move. Our bus dismissal must take priority because we operate in a system with high school students being taken home first, buses reporting to elementary, and then our buses need to go to another elementary school and on to middle schools for continued dismissal. So please be patient. We promise to welcome your children, teach them, keep them safe, and give them back to you each and every day, even if it takes a little longer as we get used to the new routine. There is one update with the attendance policy. NCDPI made a change so that families may request that a student be able to work remotely on an in-person attendance day. If a parent or guardian needs to make this request, they should submit the attendance form on the ELE webpage or email eleattendance@cms.k12.nc.us and copy the teacher. Students may be counted as present off-site if the assigned work and/or required live sessions are completed. With remote learning by request, we will have limited availability for live sessions. This is because our options for offering live sessions will be more limited due to all teachers who have in-person students being in person with their students. Previously, we had teachers on a rotation, meaning we could allow students to join an in-person teacher on her remote days. So we'll have to make decisions based on a priority system. Priority for joining live sessions with a full remote academy class will be given to students who are absent due to illness or symptoms, directed quarantine, or a positive COVID diagnosis. Students who have requested remote learning for other reasons will still be able to complete all of their assignments and participate in recorded video lessons, but live synchronous learning may not be available depending on the demand at that time. Here is some great news. Our ASAP program will likely be approved to stay open if we have consistent enrollment. This year, families have lots of options. You can choose the after school only option, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, or after school plus a full day of care on Wednesday, or Wednesday only. This might be the perfect solution for many of our students who benefit from supported remote learning and independent work time. The Wednesday only option is only $20 per student. Space is limited, so act fast to help us maintain our program and secure your child's spot if you are interested. You can email our after-school director, April Gales. Her information is included on a later slide and also on our ELE webpage. Updates on volunteers and visitors. That process, protocol, and requirement is the same. We can continue to allow only CMS staff members, including our substitute teachers, students, and contractors into the buildings and to interact with our students on campus. This is because of the incredible involvement that's required for contact tracing and managing procedures and processes. We will be ready to welcome you back as soon as these restrictions are lifted. So get ready, because we've made a big mess at ELE, moving things around to accommodate each new phase in the plan. And we will have lots of opportunities for you to help us put it back together again. There are still ways that you can help us now. Please help us manage the new processes and procedures with the additional students we will have on campus by not expecting an early dismissal for a child after 2:15 p.m. Please do not call or send any transportation changes after 2:15 p.m. Also, have your children's symptom screeners completed prior to 7 a.m. This helps us be able to provide a printed copy of all students who are approved for the day so that students can quickly be checked in when they exit the buses. Families who are bringing students as walkers or car riders, please have those green checks ready. Also, please communicate with us about reason for absences and requests for remote learning in advance whenever possible. Here's what we hold tight. We will offer the best social, emotional, and academic experience for our students regardless of program enrollment. We want to offer as much consistency in the remote learning schedule as possible, and we will continue to communicate with you along the way and use your feedback to continuously improve. We know that this year, the best way for us to move forward is to respond to changes as they arrive with positivity and to focus on making the best decision for our students in any given circumstance. You are probably still wondering about some things. One thing in particular may be the May 12th return to remote learning until testing is completed part of the calendar change. Elementary schools should only need 4 days for state testing at the end of the year. We will communicate the dates as soon as they are available, but I don't anticipate our students needing more than 4 days of remote learning to accommodate in-person testing at the end of the year. End of year events, what we will do about unfinished learning from this year and the semester from or the quarter from last year, along with summer learning programs and details about next year, are still forthcoming. So, as always, you can trust us to make a solid plan with whatever guidance we're given at the time, and stay tuned. We will inform you as soon as we have more information. If you still have more questions, you can email a couple of people on staff for quick questions and answers. Transportation, our assistant principal, Ms. Stewart. Health and COVID protocols, our nurse, Amy, and I will add that email to our school webpage, and our ASAP program coordinator, April Gales. If you have additional questions about the ELE transition plan, there are a few live opportunities for question and answers tomorrow, Thursday, March 18th, from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., 10:30 to 11:15 a.m., and 6:45 to 7:45 p.m. The link for these sessions will be posted on the ELE webpage Thursday morning. Most importantly, thank you for being a part of the family and for trusting that the ELE family will continue working together to make this school year work and look forward to more normalcy next year.